Butterfly powder. Mr. Goodday knew that everyone dreamed of flying like a bird or a butterfly over mountains and wilderness. Even old women with a fear of heights wake up with their hearts full of joy after such a dream. Brimir answered for the children. Of course, we want to fly like butterflies. At night, we dream countless dreams in which we fly and glide, and they're the most enjoyable dreams we have. But we know it's impossible because of gravity. Are you trying to trick us? Asked Hulda, looking searchingly at Mr. Goodday. No, I'm not trying to trick you. I really know a way to let you fly. The kids looked at each other skeptically. Could we really get to fly in the air like birds? Show me where the butterflies sleep, and you shall fly. That's a promise and not a lie. The children had butterflies in their tummies. Could they really fly? They set off in a single row through the forest, along the river, over the hills, and through the valley, until they came to the cave in the mountain where the butterflies sleep for a whole year after following the sun around the planet. Hush, whispered the children. We mustn't wake the butterflies. Is this the butterfly cave? Shouted Mr. Goodday, peeping through the opening. Yes, the butterflies sleep here, said the kids. Mr. Goodday took a large vacuum cleaner out of his case. This is an APXU 456R2000 super vacuum cleaner. You can see it here. Won't it wake the butterflies? Asked the kids. Vacuum cleaners are silent. Don't you know anything? Asked Mr. Goodday in amazement. He connected a long tube to the machine and stuck it through the cave mouth. He turned the machine on, and it was true. It made no sound at all. Are you sucking up the butterflies? Asked Brimir, growing pale. There are no laws in this island, so it must be okay to vacuum clean butterflies. Are you vacuuming up the butterflies? Asked the children, terrified. My goodness, how you all get so worked up. Have a look into the cave. The kids looked into the cave and saw all the floors and walls and rocks were covered with butterflies fast asleep, just as usual. They all sighed with relief. Mr. Goodday opened the vacuum cleaner, took the dust bag out and held it up high. Do you know what's in the bag? The children looked at each other. Stardust, butterfly poop. No, it's the most unbelievably magic powder in the world, my dears. This is butterfly powder. Butterfly powder. Have you never caught a butterfly? Asked Mr. Goodday. They had all caught a butterfly at one time or another. When you let it go, isn't the palm of your hand sometimes covered by a glittering dust? Yes, said the children. That's the powder that makes the butterflies fly when the sun shines on their wings. And what are we supposed to do with this butterfly powder? Asked the children. I'll show you. Mr. Goodday walked over to Magni and sprinkled the powder over his hands. At first, nothing happened. But then it was as if he was becoming light as a feather. And then suddenly, he floated up off the ground and hovered over the heads of the children. The children caught their breath in amazement. I'm flying, shouted Magni. The kids on the ground burst into laughter. He's flying, they shouted, laughing and dancing. I'm flying, Magni shouted. It's the greatest fun I've ever had. He glided in the air like a bird. He flew in circles, did a few dives, and his tummy tingled with excitement. He hung onto branches, took kiwi fruits and oranges from the tops of trees, and threw them down to the others. This is fantastic. This is just unbelievably fantastic. This is unbelievable, stupendous fun. Mr. Goodday is the jolliest man in the world, he shouted. Now we can call him nothing else but Jolly Goodday, cried Hulda. Hooray for Jolly Goodday, the children all shouted at once. How much does the butterfly powder cost? Nothing, my dear children. You can have it for free. Hooray! The children gathered and jostled around Jolly Good Day, and from the crowd could be heard shouts and cries of, "May I, me next me too, give me some more." And then all received butterfly powder on their arms. "We're free like butterflies," shouted the children. Brimir and Hulda glided hand in hand all around the island that day. They saw places no child had ever seen before. They saw spring waters in the forest where the green crocodiles lay white eggs. They flew over hidden valleys between glaciers with dinosaur bones, and they could look straight down into volcanic craters with its bubbling lava. Hulda sat on the crater's edge and stared into the melting rocks. She could feel the burning heat. Brimir sat next to her, picked up a large pebble and threw it into the crater. The stone melted and became floating lava. Hulda tied some string around a chunk of seal meat from the previous day and lowered it down into the crater. The chunk was cooked in an instant, and they drew it up grilled and juicy from the fire. "There's one thing I'd like to see," said Hulda, munching on her meat. "What's that?" asked Brimir, licking his fingers. "I want to see the lions." Brimir's eyes brightened as his heart beat faster. He had only once seen a lion from a great distance and had never dared to go near them. They glided off to the great plain where the pride of lions lay at ease under an oak tree. Bad-tempered male lions with bloody teeth and great manes, and some fierce lionesses with cute little cubs playing all around them. The children circled over the tree and perched like sparrows on a branch. The lion stood up and growled. "Growl!" "Ha ha, you can't get me," cried Brimir as he threw acorns at the lions. "Growl!" "Eat me if you can," said Hulda, growling back. Their hearts pounded faster when the biggest lion with the biggest mane gripped the bark with its claws and inched its way up the tree. They had often heard horrible stories of lions that devoured every last morsel of a child and left nothing behind but a gnawed skeleton in the grass. "Let's fly away right now," said Brimir. "No, not just yet," said Hulda. "Does the powder never stop working?" said Brimir. "Not while the sun's shining," said Hulda. The lion clawed itself higher and higher up the tree. It growled so furiously that the leaves paled and the berries fell to the ground. Growl. The lion sprang onto the branch just below the children as a cloud was fast approaching the sun. "Quick," said Hulda, "let's fly away." They flapped up into the air and left the lion completely baffled in the tree. Growl. "What kind of creatures are you anyway?" "We're flying penguins," cried Brimir, and he burst out laughing. "This is more fun than the weirdest dream." They flew away laughing over lakes and forests, mountains and rivers. Ragnar the mountain climber flew up all the mountain tops on the island before he let his most treasured dream come true and flew twice to the peak of the Blue Mountains and then down again. "Wow, this was the best day of my life," he shouted. "It was fantastic." "Yeah, the next most fun day is really dull and boring compared to this one," said Brimir. "I don't understand how we could have ever lived without this fantastic butterfly powder," said Hulda with the broadest of smiles. Evening falls, the sun sets. But the butterfly powder only worked while the sun shone. And when the sun began to set, the children's flying powers grew weaker until they were as heavy and earthbound as they had ever been before. The children rushed backwards and forwards like wing-clipped birds, some flapping their arms and hopping in the air. "Oh, it's so boring when the sun has set and the sky becomes red in the west and black in the east," said Elva before she jumped off a low ledge and crashed into a pile of rocks. "I think so too," said Magni, pouting. "You stop having butterflies in your tummy and you're as heavy as lead and can't fly anymore. It's terribly boring." "It's so tiring to walk," said Ragnar. "I think it's so boring to sleep," said Elva. "Our dreams are so colorless compared to the fun we were having during the day." The next day, the very same thing happened all over again. The kids flew and glided and laughed themselves silly, but when the sun set, they all became very moody and silent, each sitting alone, waiting for the sun to rise again. No one could be bothered to sleep because the reality of the day had become so much more fun than the dreams of the night. At last, the children decided to go down to Black Beach and ask Jolly Goodday if he could make the butterfly powder work at night as well. It was very early in the morning and the sun had barely risen. Jolly Goodday slept under a woolen blanket on a deck chair on the beach. He had sleep in his eyes with hair on his toes. He yawned when the children woke him. Yawn, he yawned. What do you all want? The nights are so dull, the children complained. Jolly Goodday was very understanding. Do you find your night dreams unexciting? Yeah, sleeping is so dull and boring. We want to fly at night too. You have to find a way. Jolly Goodday thought deeply, mulled things over, and racked his brains so much he almost split his mind in two. I'm sure I can fix it, and it won't cost much at all. Hooray, hooray, shouted the children. Jolly Goodday knows everything. How much will it cost? Really nothing at all, and less than that. How little? Maybe just a tiny bit of youth. Youth. In your hearts, there's a very deep well that waters your soul, and it's full to the brim of youth. Are you going to take our youth? No. Not all of it. Just a tiny little bit. Less than 1% of all your youth. Less than one sip from a glass. And we won't change at all. Not at all, really. You won't grow any smaller and you won't grow any bigger. Ha ha, laughed the children. Who minds giving up a tiny bit of youth in exchange for much more fun? How is it done? Jolly Goodday put on a very wise expression and showed them drawings and data sheets. At noon, when the sun is at its highest, I'll take a big nail and nail the sun to the sky above your island. Then it'll always be day and always be bright, and you can fly and fly endlessly as much as you want without ever sleeping again. Wow, fantastic, said the children. Everyone waited impatiently for noon. Then Jolly Goodday got up out of his deck chair, went into his spaceship, and fetched a gigantic ladder, an enormous hammer, and a stupendous nail. He rested the ladder on the end of a white cloud. Jolly Goodday put on pitch-dark sunglasses to avoid being blinded, and slipped polka-dot oven mitts over his hands to avoid being sunburned. Then he climbed with his hammer and nail high up into the sky and nailed the nail into the middle of the sun with a noise that echoed throughout the whole world. Bang! 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 Golden sunbeams flew everywhere and landed in the sea, hissing and bubbling. Jolly Goodday then jumped off the ladder and glided down to earth in a flower-patterned parachute. The sun won't leave now, kids. You need never again say good morning or good night. Eternal day reigns on your island. Hooray, hooray, shouted the children. Now there's eternal day. Jolly Goodday's got the answer to everything. Here's a picture of Jolly Goodday nailing the sun to the sky. It's safe to say that there has never been as much fun for the children on the island as right at that moment. The sun was always high in the sky and never moved, but shone and shone so that no one needed to sleep. The flowers blossomed with loud bangs, and the island became a sea of flowers in the ocean. The lemons turned yellow, the apples reddened, the trees turned green and grew with cracks and groans, and growing of the grass could be heard far out to sea. The kids could fly and fly, and no one noticed the passing of time. They saw no stars in the sky, just continuous noontime, sunshine and endless fun and games, and no one was bored for a single minute. Everyone was ecstatically happy with suntans, broad smiles, and tummies full of butterflies. Wolf, wolf. But then the clouds covered the sun. First a small one, and then more and more came until the sky was full of clouds. Then came pouring rain. The children sat under trees in a foul mood. "Oh, I hate rain," whined Elva. "Me too," said Magni dejectedly. "You don't get a belly full of butterflies in the rain," muttered Brimir. The kids waded through the mud and slush on the beach to Jolly Good Day's, where he lay under the flower-patterned parachute, using it as an umbrella. It's really intolerable when you're innocently flying along and the clouds suddenly cover the sun. It's highly dangerous. You could simply crash to the ground and be smashed to pieces, said Hulda. She was quite furious. Yeah, that's right. We can't have rain getting out of control and taking everyone by surprise, said Brimir. Rain is boring. Down with rain, said Magni. Jolly Good Day thought long and deeply. I think I can fix this, dear kids, and it shouldn't cost so much. The children brightened up. How? Look at the clouds in the sky. They all looked down at their feet. Come on, look at the clouds, kid. Don't be silly. But they're so unexciting, we can't be bothered to stare at them anymore, said Brimir. We want to fly. That's exciting. But what do the clouds look like? There's a picture of clouds here. You can guess what they look like. The children gawped listlessly up into the sky. Why don't you tell us instead? We don't want to look at clouds. We want to fly higher than the clouds. Shall I tell you what I think? Asked Jolly Good Day. I think the clouds look like little woolly lambs that have come here to pee on you, he said as he burst into laughing. Ugh, what disgusting lambs, said the children, just as well as they don't poop on us too. But how does one get rid of these pesky lambs? Asked Jolly Good Day. You scare them away, said Hulda grinning. And what are lambs afraid of? They're scared of the big bad wolf, shouted Brimir. That's right, said Jolly Good Day. He took a large fat cigar from his back pocket and lighted it. He sucked and blew, coughed and blew, and a horrid cloud of smoke came from his ears. His nose smoked like a factory chimney. His mouth was like an exhaust pipe. The smoke rose up into the sky and gathered in a black and ominous cloud. The cloud grew bigger and bigger and became uglier and uglier. When the cigar was burned to ashes, Jolly Good Day looked proudly up into the sky. Well, how do you like it? The ugly black cloud, asked the children. How do you like the wolf? The children looked thunderstruck up into the sky and saw that the black cloud was just like a big, fierce wolf. Jolly Good Day waved his arms and cried, Wolf, wolf, go get the lambs that pee rain on the kids. Wolf, wolf, go get the lambs that throw shadows on them too. From the sky came the most terrifying growl they had ever heard. It was like 1,000 thunderstorms, and from the wolf's eyes and mouth shot streaks of lightning. The wolf raced across the heavens and swallowed a few lamb clouds in one big bite. The clouds fled in all directions and hid behind the horizon so that the sky was once again clear and blue. After that, not a single cloud was seen in the sky, apart from the big, bad wolf one, which ran around the horizon, making sure that no cloud could ever come across. Hooray, shouted the children. If Jolly Good Day hadn't saved us, we would have been bored to death in the rain. Is the wolf dangerous? Asked Hulda. Not unless you fly bleating like a lamb through the sky in a white woolen sweater, said Jolly Good Day and laughed. Could the wolf swallow the sun? Jolly Good Day made no answer. How much does the wolf cost? Asked Brimir. Oh, nothing at all, really, said Jolly Good Day. Maybe just a little more youth. Do you need more youth? I just need a teeny weeny drop more. Hardly enough worth mentioning. Within 10% of usable youth. We don't really understand this percent stuff. How do you collect youth? Asked Arnar the Thinker. Are we really interested in listening to some boring vacuum cleaner techno baloney? Asked Jolly Good Day. You don't need to understand. Can't you see that the sun's shining and the sky is clear and blue? Hooray, shouted the children, and they flew off into the air. They went higher and higher until they became little black dots in the clear blue sky. The whole island echoed with the shouts of children's laughter, which drowned even the noise of the screeching terns and wailing gulls. Sometimes a wondrous cry would be heard when they saw something new and amazing. Sometimes sighs of happiness could be heard when the children tasted delicious fruits that grew on the tallest trees, which had never been able to reach before. Jolly Good Day had taught them to fly. The scent of flowers filled the air, but soon a strange smell began to borne on the wind. Wherever the children went, they could smell this disgusting stink.